Hello everyone and welcome to Travel the Globe, the channel for travel connoisseurs, explorers, and for those with a knack for adventure. Not everything is as good as it seems. We'll be listing the top 10 overrated travel spots in the globe today. For this list, we're focusing on sites and locations that frequently make tourists' bucket lists but often let them down when they finally visit. So, join us as we take a look at a number of general places and specific attractions that fall short of expectations. Now, just to let you know, we're not saying that any of these locations lack charm or should be avoided. Rather, we're here to help you control your expectations. With all that said, let's get started. First is Rainbow Mountain at Cusco, Peru. The Montana de Siete Colores, or Vinicunca, lives up to its name with the correct lighting, a little editing, and helpful filters. To be fair, even when seen in person, most tourists will say that the colored lines that adorn this Peruvian mountain are a distinctive sight. The problem is that the colors are unlikely to be as brilliant as those you've been seeing online unless you chance to arrive in August at the ideal time of day and when there hasn't been any recent rain. So it's all good, right? Such a unique geological phenomenon must be sufficient justification for the journey. The fact is, it's not a very simple journey. If traveling from Cusco, seeing Vinicunca requires a 2-hour drive, then a 3-mile hike across difficult terrain, or a 3.5-hour trip through Pitamarca, then a different route. It takes a lot of time and effort in any case, and if terrible weather arrives, too bad for you. Even in ideal circumstances, many visitors express dissatisfaction with the site that welcomes them. Second, Mount Rushmore, South Dakota, United States. The astounding effort of carving the likenesses of Presidents Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln into a mountainside is readily apparent when you first see Mount Rushmore. But you do have to consider that this job was finished in the early 20th century, specifically from 1927 to 1941, with pretty old technology. The sculpture's actual scale, though, leaves one feeling a little dissatisfied when the initial impression wears off. Don't get us wrong, a head that tall is magnificent, but Mount Rushmore suffers from the stigma attached to it. Photos of Mount Rushmore don't provide us much information on the size of the heads, and regrettably, until they actually see the sculpture, most tourists are unaware of how greatly they have exaggerated the size of these presidents' heads in their minds. Third, we have Champs-Élysées in Paris. It is the subject of many love fantasies and songs. Almost every first-time visitor to the City of Love lists the avenue as one of the must-see places in Paris. Though Paris is known for its green spaces, you won't find many of them along this renowned retail strip. If you took basic French in high school, you know that the word champ implies fields. Don't get us wrong, the Arc de Triomphe's massive size at one end makes for a stunning focal point in a picture of the tree-lined avenue. On the Avenue des Champs-Élysées though, you won't find much other than well-known stores like Banana Republic, The Gap, and Lacoste, and the sidewalk is crammed with stalls selling pricey plastic Eiffel Towers. Fourth, the French Quarter, New Orleans, Louisiana. When people think of this region of New Orleans, which is undoubtedly lovely, they typically associate it with jazz music, a dramatic atmosphere where people congregate to celebrate in the streets, and of course, Mardi Gras. Sadly, the French Quarter's enduring fame has largely robbed it of both its allure and its genuineness. Unless you're relaxing at a bar, it's doubtful that you'll run across any residents while wandering the French Quarter. Instead, hordes of messy drunks welcome you, similar to spring break but with a definite middle-aged flavor, and in much smaller, unpleasant accommodations. Finding a satisfying dinner that isn't outrageously costly is challenging, and if you're there for the music, you're better off going to one of the nearby neighborhoods like Marigny, where you can really catch up-and-coming performers at bars that still attract residents. Thankfully, the building is as stunning as described. Feedback from travelers is quite important when considering your next travel destination. Which other tourist spots are also overrated in your opinion? Tell us in the comments below. If you're liking this video, be sure to hit the like button. This will help support the channel and will boost the video to other travel enthusiasts. And now, back to our list. 5th. Hobbiton Set, Mata Mata, New Zealand. With this film version of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson succeeded in bringing Middle-earth to life in a way that is unparalleled in the history of fantasy realms. It is a blessing that the Hobbiton set has been conserved and upgraded so that people can truly live out their imagination and stroll through Hobbiton. But regrettably, just like so many imaginations, this one is constrained by material realities. Visitors who know how to moderate their expectations will certainly have a pleasant experience because the overall design is definitely beautiful. Despite this, paying $80 to $90 for an hour-long trip is expensive. Sadly, there isn't much time for exploration because the tours are led and move swiftly. Not to mention that most visitors to New Zealand have a long journey ahead of them. For many, going through Hobbiton and moving quickly makes it seem like a cruel tease. Who are we kidding though? It probably still remains a must-see location for superfans. 6th, we have the Blarney Stone, Blarney Island. Are you looking for the ability to speak well? You'd be better off enrolling in a public speaking class or buying a language learning app though. Something tells us that kissing this rock won't instantly turn you into the world's greatest flatterer or endow you with eloquence and intelligence. In fact, a 2011 Lonely Planet poll revealed it to be essentially the most overrated tourist destination in Europe, with a startling 73% of the survey's 13,000 participants advising against visiting. Regardless, this famed stone, which is positioned atop the battlements of the castle bearing its name, continues to draw tourists from all over the world. Putting aside hygienic concerns, the largest complaint about the experience is that, well, you're kissing a rock. That's it. The castle itself is very impressive and can appeal to those who are interested in architecture, yet there isn't really much going on here. 7th. Loch Ness, the Highlands, Scotland. Spoiler alert, you won't just happen to run across the fabled Loch Ness monster, and once you accept that fact, what you're left with is a lake that is certainly attractive. But its local folklore has led it to exorbitant charges for almost every service in the region, as well as a lot of merchandise and theming that caters to tourists. If you're not a die-hard Nessie fan, you will probably feel let down by this. Sure, you probably won't travel to Scotland just to see Loch Ness, but once you arrive and discover that the lake is actually quite out of the way and that you've lost a day that would have been better spent exploring this culturally rich country in another way, no amount of cheap souvenirs would make up for that time. 8th. The Mona Lisa, Paris, France. It would be incorrect to say that the Louvre is overrated. Yes, the wait times for entry are obscenely long, often taking over 2 hours, but once you do get inside, you get to witness some of the most well-known and moving pieces of art. Sadly, due to its diminutive size, one of the collection's most recognizable items has frequently been a cause of disappointment. The Mona Lisa is only around 30 by 21 inches, which actually takes up relatively little wall space despite its enormous aesthetic reputation. Even though size isn't everything, the large crowd that is always gathering around the painting makes it seem even smaller and possibly not worth the effort to see. According to a 2019 survey of British tourists, the Mona Lisa was rated as the most disappointing tourist site in the entire globe. Planning your next vacation is crucial for having an amazing time and not getting disappointed once you get there. Did we miss any overrated tourist spots? Comment your personal picks in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications by hitting that bell icon. Looking for more travel ideas? Check out our other videos for more Travel the Globe videos like this one. Until next time!